Micah Parsons is chasing an obscure but very important record in 2023. And tonight we'll break it down. We'll also talk about winners from the Panthers game. We'll get into the injury report because, yes, there is a Monday injury report and overreaction Monday. Here we go. What is up, everyone, and welcome into A to Z Sports Dallas Prime Time. I am your host, Mauricio Rodriguez, streaming with you live every Sunday through Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central here on Dallas On Demand Sports Talk Network with a lot more content coming your way. Make sure that you check out a2zsports.com/Dallas. And as always, do me a favor and hit the like button for me if you enjoy Cowboys content on this channel. Welcome everyone on a Monday night. Tonight we are Chiefs fans, and the game has been a little bit of disappointing QB play, but hey, we are enjoying it and we are rooting for Kansas City. If you're a Cowboys fan, you should absolutely be rooting for the Chiefs right now. But what's up, everyone? We've got a Guru, Peter Rizzo, Mark, Aaron, Jack, Katharina in the chat. Who else is around here? Shout out to Mark Aaron as well. Shout out to Jack the Toxic Cactus. Welcome everyone into the show. Let's get to it. Gregory also joins us. Already teased the script a little bit, but let's go over it. We're going to talk about Micah and his chase of the Cowboys or the NFL obscure record that he could be getting soon, and it's an important one, even if it's an obscure one. And then 6 winners versus the Panthers, and I'm going to do a little bit of cheating there, but you'll see what I mean in a little bit. And then we'll get into the early injury report, which I hate to inform you, it includes wide receiver CeeDee Lamb with an ankle injury. Remember last night we speculated a little bit about how CeeDee didn't quite seem healthy in some points in the game, especially when he stood up after Cavante Turpin fell on top of him. And I'm not saying that the Turpin hit did him, but there was a moment where he stood up and really didn't move and then was pacing around a little bit. It seemed like something was bothering him. Turns out we were right. Ankle injury listed on the injury report on Monday. Estimated injury report. We'll get into that later. And then overreaction Monday, as we do every single week. Shout out to everyone who is joining the show right now. Let's see here. Travis says, "What's up, Mo? Go Chiefs." We've also got Marcus saying Micah was unstoppable yesterday. And Marcus, you are right. Your comment is 100% correct. That being said, there is one word in there which is not really necessary. And I'm talking about specifically the final word of your comment. Michael was unstoppable yesterday is just, when you use the yesterday word, that might be a little bit unnecessary. And you know what I mean. Micah has been so dominant and so unstoppable all year long. Obviously, I'm half kidding with Marcus's comment. But for real, one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is his taste of the pass rush win rate crown. And he's on such a run right now that he had a 4% pass rush win rate versus the Panthers. So as Marcus said, unstoppable. His season-long pass rush win rate is now at 34.6%. And the record, and that's just since 2017 when it was basically, it's a very young stat. But that is the record, for Joey Bosa, that is 33.7%. And Micah is on pace to exceed that number. Now, a lot of people will be like, who cares about pass rush win rate? I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to say I do. I do very much care about it because that's one of the best metrics in sports right now to measure a pass rusher getting after a quarterback. That's like a revolutionary metric from ESPN. PFF keeps its version of it. So I see some people commenting about the audio. I don't know if something is wrong on the, software because the audio here and even on my monitor, like I can hear it very well. If you guys can let me know if I should be doing something differently. Please, I mean, like, or if something sounded differently just now when I changed some settings, it shouldn't. It should sound as usual. Not sure what's going on with the audio, but thank you for the people pointing it out on the YouTube chat. We'll see if that made it better at all, or maybe it didn't, or maybe it made it worse. You never know with these whole things. So please let me know. I think I kind of fixed it. I really didn't do a whole lot because I can hear it well. So it's probably something like from the computer. Anyways, thank you so much for being here as always. Pass rush win rate. I care about it a whole lot, and it sounds better. Really, it sounds better now. I don't know what I did. I really don't know. I don't know what that is all about. All right. I know that I'm dumbfounded right now by the audio settings, but going back to the topic at hand, Micah Parsons has been on such a dominant run that he's about to set a pass rush win rate record. Now, young stats, so since 2017, it really doesn't mean that much, but it does speak volumes about where Micah is at because I would have to look up the numbers for how often Joey Bosa was double teamed in 2017, and we could find those probably, but nobody is being doubled at the rate which Micah Parsons is being doubled. Miles Garrett might be the lone exception. Not making sure right now as we speak. Miles Garrett, according to ESPN, is still double teamed more often, but that's just like a 2% difference. And this has not been updated after the week 11 games, which is obviously significant. But we'll probably see an update there pretty quickly. According to Next Gen Stats, though, nobody has done it before. That is the record that Micah Parsons is chasing. And again, it is a weird kind of number that many people will not care about. But I'm telling you, I do believe it is a very important one. That is so weird. I'm still seeing the comments about the audio. I don't know what I did to fix it. I have a weird theory about it, but that knob that I turned down should have nothing to do with the audio that the computer is receiving. So we have a hypothesis, but I cannot confirm it. We'll see. The Chiefs scoring fixed the audio, says Mark Aaron. That probably indeed was it, Mark, because as soon as the Chiefs scored, the fix was in. Let's see here. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to Travis and Guru for your comments. Micah is in such a run, and I wanted to break down the X's and O's a little bit today. Hopefully, we get to do that tomorrow with Micah Parsons specifically, like those plays where he was on design pressures that worked well for Dallas. I would love to break down some of those. Unfortunately, I was not able to really sit down with the X's and O's and record some of these plays, which is usually what I like to do, and maybe do some drawings and talk about the plays in depth, and then just play the pre-recorded clips. But hopefully tomorrow night. If not, then maybe Wednesday night. We'll see. Of course, Wednesday night will be a preview show for the Commanders game, but we're going to figure it out. Do not worry. Here on ADZ Sports Dallas Primetime. Moving on a little bit, though, I did want to talk about some winners from the Panthers game. And let me know in the chat, who is here's a keyword, the key phrase, not so obvious winner from the Cowboys-Panthers game. Let me know in the chat. The reason why I said that is because I decided to put together a 3-winner segment for this show. And then when I got down to it, I was like, the 3 winners are pretty much automatic here. You had to go with Teran Steel, obviously, with the pick 6, doing his thing and positioning himself really a little bit in the DPOY conversation. We broke that down, and I shared my opinion as to why he isn't really that much of a legit candidate, but at least he's got people talking now after he tied the NFL record. And I thought, everyone's going to say Bland. And then I listed the other 2. And one was Tyron Smith, who, again, did not allow a single pressure against the Carolina Panthers. He has been playing at an all-pro level since he came back from injury. And it's not a question that he's an all-pro candidate. If Tyron Smith keeps playing at this level, even with the games he's missed, he's going to be a first-team all-pro left tackle again in 2023. And that is the reason why the Cowboys decided to risk it and go with him at left tackle instead of moving Tyler Smith to the left side. So obviously, Tyron Smith would be a winner. And then Micah Parsons, who we just talked about a little bit more with the pass rush win rate stuff, he would have been the number 3 winner, in my opinion. So, or number 1, like not in that particular order, but what I mean is if we would have done just a 3 winner segment, that's where we would have left it. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to shake it up. And I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to go with 3 not so obvious winners. So I'm going to mention 3 names that might be a little bit too controversial, but that's what this show is for, going a little bit beyond the main storyline. So that's what we're going to try to do tonight. But in the meantime, some of your answers to your not so obvious winner, Gregory goes with Teran Steel. And you know what, Gregory? I did not hate that one at all because, man, specifically that play where he's blocking towards the right side and he basically dives at 2 humans and blocks them. That was insane. I actually thought it was a little bit surprising, that he wasn't graded a little bit better as a run blocker by PFF. I do like the run block grades, but he was 8th on the team. That's behind, I think, every other offensive lineman. There might have been one exception, but yeah, I think that's below. No, the only one that is worse is Zach Martin, who, it might be time for a Zach Martin conversation. I agree with what John Owning tweeted out today, where he said that, hey, Zach Martin is still pretty damn good, but he's not playing at his usual level, which is that of a undeniable first-team All-Pro. That's all. Well, there was that particular play that we talked about yesterday where Derek Brown blows him up, and then he makes a tackle for a loss. It wasn't a good game for Zach Martin, honestly, but it was for Teran Steel. So I do agree with you guys there. We've got Peter Rizzo saying Pollard should wait, what? Pollard, old school Pollard, burst of speed. Yeah, that is true. Tony Pollard showed up on Sunday, specifically with that 21-yard run for a touchdown. Jack says Steel definitely played better. And that is what I liked about Teran Steele's game. He really stepped it up a little bit. I'm going to go, and again, I like Gurus. Tyler Smith is dominating. I know that Tyler Smith had a penalty, but other than that, though, I really like what Tyler Smith is doing. I might have taken the not so obvious thing way too seriously, so forgive me if I disappoint you. Let me hit you with my first not so obvious winner. I'm going to go with, some of you are going to hate this pick, Luke Schoonmaker, tight end. And I know what you're thinking. Mo, what the heck? 2 catches is enough to get you on the winner segment nowadays? Hear me out a little bit here because this is a context-loaded one. Yes, it was only 2 catches. And yes, it was for 23 yards. And yes, when Dak Prescott found him on the seam, he was wide open. And by the way, let me just say, Dak Prescott, man, is the best there is in the NFL at throwing the seam route. I'm not doubting that. You want to talk about any other quarterback being better than him, go ahead, but not for the seam routes. I do think Dak masters those, and I'm just going to live in that world where I admit that he's the best there is in the entire NFL throwing those routes. Moving forward with it, though, 2 catches for 23 yards might not be enough for many people to consider him a winner, but I'm going to tell you exactly why that is enough in my book. We might still be in that area, but we were on the verge of assuming that he would be relegated to tight end 3 as soon as Peyton Hendershot came back from injured reserve. And remember, Hendershot is back practicing with the Dallas Cowboys. So we are in the 21 window for Peyton Hendershot to be activated to the 53-man roster. Mike McCarthy didn't reveal if his activation was going to happen ahead of the Commanders game or not. But even if it doesn't happen by then, we were in this moment where it was like, If Hendershot comes back, then Schoonmaker might be benched, and maybe this buys him some time. 2 catches for 23 yards. It's pretty clear that the Cowboys were not against playing him, and maybe it was because they didn't have a lot of options. But this buys him time, in my opinion, specifically the fact that he delivered when he was targeted 2 for 2, 23 yards, and the touchdown. Marcus Jones says, my boy Schoonmaker with the first touchdown of the game yesterday was not on my bingo card. I'll tell you that much, especially not early in the game, as Marcus says. Schoon says Guru. Deep in middle seems to be Schoon's artwork. And, he did drop that one early in the season, but now he's made up for it with a touchdown against the Panthers. So I'm excited about seeing, if he figures it out or not, because it's not like he's a player that doesn't have the traits. He does have them. He just hasn't really put it together, if that makes sense. Mark Aaron says, I thought that Juan J Thomas played good in the second half. He's better than Jaylen. I'm not sure if I can say that he's better than Jaylen. In fact, I wouldn't. I also cannot say that I've seen Juan J Thomas play the same position as Jordan Lewis, at least not in a big enough sample size. Because that Jordan Lewis is a nickel cornerback and Juan J is a safety. We've seen him in some corner situations, but I'm not sure if we've seen him nearly enough at nickel. So I'm not going to compare the two very quickly right here. I'm just going to say that. But anyways, number 2, not so obvious winner. And now, as I say this, the Kansas City Chiefs are going into halftime as 2 possession leaders out there on Monday Night Football. Go Chiefs. Go Chiefs. Tonight, we're all Kansas City fans. And hopefully this show doesn't age the wrong way. My number 2 winner for this game, give me Dorance Armstrong. Now, I want to put together some tape, and I want to talk about Armstrong in a deeper way maybe later in the week. I don't know if it's going to work, though, with the short week and everything. But he was second on the team in pressures against Carolina. Micah had an astonishing 9 pressures, despite the double teams, despite everything. He was just out of this world. And Armstrong had 4 pressures, which is more than Sam Williams. Now, he did play a whole lot more, and we know that Williams is doing a very good job himself. He had more pressures than DeMarcus Lawrence in the same amount of snaps, actually. Pass rush snaps, that is. But Dorance Armstrong was out there working. 4 pressures, 1 sack, or half a sack, actually, officially at least. He had 2 QB hurries per PFF. Armstrong is in this weird spot where Williams wants his place in the rotation. Dante Fowler Jr. isn't exactly somebody that is behind him in the rotation either, because those snap counts are very close to each other. So Armstrong is in a tough spot, no question about it. But he made a name for himself yesterday. 4 pressures, made sure the Cowboys noticed him. And you got to definitely, in my opinion, acknowledge that he got that together and he was good versus the Panthers. Let's see here. Guru says Sam Williams, no love. And hey, he also deserves it. 3 pressures in about half the snaps that Dorance Armstrong played, which is a great comparison for him. But I'm going to go with Sam Williams with Armstrong on this one. I thought that he put in some solid work. Armstrong's a little underrated, it's a scam. And hey, how can you not be underrated in a defense where Micah and D-Law are the top guys? And then after those 2, there's a group of 3 players that are pretty damn solid. Because I think Fowler is also underrated, and Sam Williams might also be underrated. The same for DA. It is really a a really impressive group of defensive ends that the Cowboys have. And the best part about it is that they can take the field at the same time as soon as it's 3rd and long or an obvious passing situation, and the Cowboys want to go against the quarterback with all they've got. Mark Aaron says that he wonders if Carl Davis, defensive tackle, former Patriot that the Cowboys signed to the practice squad, he wonders if he will move up. I would be a little bit surprised if he does, barring any injury, but you never know. Jonathan Hankins maybe didn't have the best of games, but I still don't know that he would be better than Carl Davis. Carl Davis didn't really work out in New England. When he was done in New England, he shared a very passionate message on social media where he was like, "Nobody feel bad for me. This was because of me." And he really take a lot of, accountability for what went wrong with the Patriots. But we might see him at some point in the year. I just wouldn't really bet on it being anything significant, basically, for the Cowboys. Let's get to my final winner. And this is one that could also be a little bit controversial, but again, not so obvious winners. These are not obvious winners. I already went through the obvious. But give me Jaylen Brooks. Give me Jaylen Brooks. And I say that specifically because he was, not that involved in the passing game, right? But he had some moments blocking. And in fact, he was the third best run blocker per PFF grades against the Panthers. And Jaylen Brooks had 9 snaps, no, actually 16 snaps, offensively speaking. That is 9 blocking snaps. But hear me out. Cavante Turpin had 12 snaps on offense against the Panthers. Now, some of them might have come, a lot of them might have come during garbage time, but he's not that far away from Michael Gallup's 25 either, or Luke Schoonmaker's 25 snaps. So I just wonder, hey, could Jaylen Brooks earn himself a role on this offense? And before you say, hey, what are you talking about, Mo? Let me remind you of this. Jaylen Brooks was inactive from week 1 through what was it? Like say from week 1 to week 9, he was active twice, I believe. So he was a healthy scratch the majority of the season. And after watching him block the way that he did versus the Panthers and the way that the Cowboys have given him some situations where they target him, and he was targeted against the Panthers, really didn't amount to anything. But I thought it wasn't really because of him. But all I'm going to say is, hey, Jalen Brooks could get involved quickly here on this offense. Not a significant role, not like wide receiver 4 or anything like that, but could he carve out a role and remain active as he continues to contribute on special teams, which he has when he plays? I'm going to say yes. So I'm going to make him a winner. And he looks comfortable, as Guru says here. Brooks looks fluid, and I like the way that he gets off the line in his release. I do think Jaylen Brooks has looked like somebody that belongs in the NFL, and that is definitely a W for him. Mark Aaron says, we need a linebacker in the worst way, and Evans needs to bring it. I'm going to agree there. I like the Marquise Bell experiment. I like the Damon Clark situation. I'm not sure that it's going to work against the heavier teams when it comes time to face them. I don't know if against the Panthers, against the Eagles in week 14, or even against the San Francisco 49ers in a hypothetical playoff matchup. I don't know if we're going to miss a regular slash traditional linebacker. I think that we will. And it speaks volumes to me that after signing Rashan Evans, the Cowboys were reportedly trying to pull off a trade for a linebacker. We talked about that back when it happened, back when Leighton Van Der Esch was announced as out for the year, and it remains a concern. So I do think that, hey, I want to see some help from Rashan Evans at linebacker because I do believe the Cowboys will miss the size a little bit there. Mark Aaron says, I was thinking when they showed Jimmy Johnson's name played in the Ring of Honor, they should have Herschel Walker name next to him in smaller letters. All right, that's a good comment, Mark Aaron. I'll give you that one, man. That was that was a good one. Didn't know where you were going with it until I got to the end there. Caught me off guard, not gonna lie. Anyways, let's move on here a little bit. Those are my 3 not so obvious winners. And before we get out of here, 2 more segments coming your way. First and foremost, the injury report. This is the NFL's worst nightmare, I believe. A Monday injury report. short weeks should be banned. And I know that with the Cowboys, it's different because they played Thanksgiving games starting a long time ago. I think in the 60s. But everyone hates a Monday injury report because no one knows exactly what it means because no one is practicing on a Monday after a Sunday game. And nobody knows exactly what to expect when the game is supposed to be played in 3 days. And that is the situation right now for Dallas with CeeDee Lamb listed on the report. Oh no. With an ankle injury. Oh no. And he was a limited participant. Now, remember, just an estimation. The Cowboys didn't actually practice, it was nothing but a walkthrough. So that's important to keep in mind. Now, Mike McCarthy was asked about this today, and the only thing that he was able to say was that they would know more on Wednesday. That wasn't the actual quote, but it was something like that. He basically explained that Monday and Tuesday, the Cowboys are going to take it extremely easy. And then that maybe on Wednesday, they were going to ramp it up a little bit. And then they would be able to test CeeDee Lamb a little bit to see if he was going to be able to go. He did mention that it wasn't a high concern, but he clarified because it is Monday. So it is too early to tell what the injury means. The Cowboys are going to test CeeDee on Wednesday, and then they're likely going to make the decision on whether or not number 88 will be able to go for Thursday when the Cowboys play the Commanders in Thanksgiving. But it does suck to be worried about your top wide receiver days before the matchup on a short week. Now, we did talk a little bit about this on Sunday that maybe CeeDee didn't look 100. There was one route where he's working towards the right sideline. I believe it's somewhat like a corner route, and he doesn't quite get there. And it seem like he was not at a 100% in that play. Then there was the one where he gets a big gain, and then somebody shoves Kavontae Turpin after the play is dead. Panthers get flagged for it, actually. But once CeeDee stands up, he just stands there and he doesn't move for an extended period of time while the officials are talking. And then he kind of paces around like looking uncomfortable. And when that happened, when we were watching on Sunday, I was worried. I was like, man, that likely meant something. But nobody said anything. The Cowboys were not saying anything on the, you know, press box or anything like that. We didn't hear about any of that. And then Monday comes around and boom, he's on the report. So it's like suspicions confirmed right there. Hopefully, he is ready to go. He's probably the biggest concern on the injury report. Rico Dowdle not practicing is not a surprise or being estimated as a non-participant. We know that he was dealing with an injury on Saturday. We know that he played. So maybe just let's be patient there. Jaron Keir is not practicing with a back injury, is something to watch for sure. And then it was also Teran Steel, who was limited with an ankle injury. And then also listed on the report, but as estimated full participants, you get Peyton Hendershot working back from injury. We'll see if they activate him for this one or not. You also get Kavontae Turpin, full participant once again, and Oza Odigizua. Obviously, these last three players were also on the report last week, but now they're fully practicing or at least estimated as such. So I hate to be talking about an injury report on Monday. I hate Thursday football, whether it's Thursday night football or Thanksgiving football. The one thing that I freaking love about it is the uniforms. Because, man, we're going to see those throwbacks back on Thursday. And I'm excited about it because those are clean. Clean, clean. Solid says Aubrey will have a perfect geek season, says Solid Duck. Hey man, he's been pretty much perfect. At least on field goals, not the extra points. And then there was a running gag on Twitter about an account that had some fun with the Brandon Aubrey situation. If you know, you know. But man, I was dying laughing on Sunday when I saw your when I saw that tweet. If you're on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. But people were having some fun with Kavontae Turpin. Let's see here. Hey, solid doc. I appreciate that. He says, I think this show has the best live viewer to like ratio of any YouTuber I've seen. I cannot see the likes right now for some reason. My software is failing. But if you guys are enjoying the show, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up for me. It might also be that we're happy because the Chiefs are winning. And by the way, we're gonna get out of here pretty soon. Um, let's see here. Mo, you were badass at getting the facts. So salute to Mo. Double R. Appreciate you, sir. You know what? Second half is about to start. I know Cowboys fans do not want to miss this football game. So let's save overreaction Monday for next week. And let's get to watching the Chiefs and the Eagles right now. Because I know that's what everyone wants to watch. And if you are watching on replay, if you're watching this show on a replay, then I hope that the Chiefs won and that you were into it the whole time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central. And let's go Chiefs. Let's root for the Chiefs. Massive game. Massive game here. Let's watch the second half and have some fun. Thank you, guys.